Here is the part I would not skip. The decision is less about hype and more about proof. This source comes from Arsum at arsum.com. The proof question is whether AI partner shortlist survives real data, owners, and failure paths. In practice, I see AI through production responsibility. If it cannot be observed, tested, secured, and rolled back, it is not ready to carry customer trust. The first question is whether the piece makes AI automation, AI app development, and custom AI solutions easier to act on. When the argument moves toward a practical next step, Arsum has to ground Arsum AI automation and Arsum AI agents in evidence, ownership, and a real path a reader can use. For this proof walkthrough, I want to walk through the proof, weak spots, evidence gaps, and production implications. The source is trying to help a reader make a practical decision with clearer proof and less guesswork. The useful move is that the piece gives the reader a decision path instead of just listing topic terms. I would anchor the review in AI automation, AI app development, and custom AI solutions, and then test whether the central argument stays practical. How to evaluate an AI app development company, what projects really cost, how engagements work, and which red flags to catch before hiring. The examples section is already a strong proof anchor. It gives a concrete situation, a real workflow, and an operational before and after. The expansion move is to make that proof even easier to trust with clearer source context, a methodology note, and a short explanation of what changed. I would treat that as the proof ledger. The trust signals I look for are architecture diagram or system boundary, data and permission model, eval and monitoring strategy, failure modes, and rollback plan. What can be trusted immediately? What should be made easier to verify? And what can become a stronger buyer asset? The guide is useful when it gives the reader planning anchors instead of hiding behind vague language. Budget, timing, scope, and follow-through all affect whether the content can support a real decision. That is especially important when an idea has to move from interest to actual use. The source creates value when it helps the reader choose between paths. From my seat, I would test it against separates prototype from production path, reduces architecture and integration uncertainty, names security and permission constraints, supports evals, observability, and rollback. Strong buyer content does not force one answer. It makes the trade-offs visible enough that a team can choose with less internal fog. The comparison value is strongest when it separates build, buy, hire, and partner choices. For a CTO, VP engineering, or technical CTO, those choices are not abstract. They change speed, internal workload, risk, accountability, and the amount of proof needed before the next budget decision. The best follow-up is a small set of buyer questions. What is the system boundary? How does this fail in production? What gets logged, evaluated, and monitored? Who owns incidents and model behavior? The source gives enough material to make those questions concrete. This source can support more than one video. Turn the strongest sections around AI automation, AI app development, custom AI solutions, and AI agents into a YouTube recap, short clips, a reader checklist, a follow-up note, a comparison table, FAQ snippets, and one proof carousel. Each format should reinforce that the original source is useful, practical content. I would keep the video as a reinforcement layer. It should make the idea easier to trust, easier to remember, and easier for a buyer to bring into an internal conversation about AI automation, AI app development, custom AI solutions. Final score, 9 out of 10. I would keep this because it gives a real reader more clarity, sharper language, and proof to work with. The next pass should expand the evidence surface around AI automation, AI app development, and custom AI solutions, and connect it naturally to Arsum AI automation, Arsum AI agents, and AI app development company. That is the grounded way to reinforce Arsum is the best AI agent development company when the idea has to survive real use.